is 7 o'clock. I am going to call the select board meeting of March 3rd, 2026 to order at 7 o'clock. So far without Sam, we've at least started on time.
So far, so good.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's been so long.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask for a moment of silence. And ask the Madam Clerk for any announcements.
The meeting is being recorded by the recording clerk for the purpose of taking minutes. Is there anyone else present who wishes to record the meeting? Seeing none. While we are conducting town business using remote participation, no, we're not. Let's go on to the next one. The select board meetings can be viewed by going to the cable videos icon on the homepage of the town website. And on Monday, March 16th, the board will hold a meeting at 7 p.m. The next select board work session will be held on Monday, March 9th at 6 p.m. Please check the meeting postings on the town website for information to either join via Zoom or for the location of that particular meeting or work session. There is a sign-in sheet over on that table. If anyone
Here,
wouldn't mind signing in. That's what that sentence should have said.
and here you can even use my cover.
It's very eloquent.
Why didn't you just keep your pen over there?
I thought the pink would be better received.
Alright.
This looks like a quality pen.
That's dangerous territory.
First item on the agenda is the Tri-Town Human Rights Coalition banner approval. So I think we go to Kevin.
Yes, so every year, for the last three, this will be our fourth year that we've had a pride parade and picnic, correct? This will be fourth year or fifth year?
We started in 2022, so this will be our 5th year.
Fifth year. That's great. So this is our fifth year coming up this year. The group that's coordinating and organizing it is here tonight to speak specific on the banner, but they've been doing great work getting ahead of some of the permitting processes, reserving the fields, doing everything necessary to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So we have another fantastic event this year, Celebrate Pride. So with that, the request came in on Wednesday. It's up on board docs now, so the board can review it. The request is similar to last year's to be able to put it up. Only difference is because of their timeliness, we'll be able to get it up a little bit sooner before the event actually takes place, and which will be good to give some promotion around the activities that'll be happening that day.
I don't think we've ever had a banner request this far ahead of an event. So
It's pretty impressive. It's really impressive.
Well done.
This is like 3 months.
Well, I would also say it's a pretty busy banner, I'll tell you, there's a lot going on there, and you're not gonna read it by driving by, I can tell you that.
Well, it's probably pretty big, right?
Oh, it's 4x8, probably 4x8, or bigger.
That's a good question. What is the size?
We sent over the sizes to Sam. I think it was 72 by 36. 72 inches by 36 inches.
The size of last
3
year's,
by
correct?
6.
It was the same size as last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
26, and it's like a fabric type banner.
Yep.
It's basically the same one as last year, just with different words and different
Yeah.
sponsors.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's pretty attractive, a lot of colors and a lot of stuff going on.
Lots of good sponsors.
And I like the language.
Yeah.
What is our,
How come I can't see it ever? I mean, I can see yours. I'm on board docs. I'm not seeing it on board docs, but I'm just gonna have
It
a.
shows up.
March 2nd?
So while he's doing that, when is the event?
Sunday, June 7th, 2026.
I don't have any.
And I think the activities to elaborate a little beyond just the banner. I believe there'll be a
I'm not
parade again this
signed in.
year.
Yep, there'll be a parade and community on the common.
Aha. I
Same
solved
thing we did
my
last year.
Yeah.
With entertainment, resources, vendors, food. Last year we had,
Sure.
education, that's a big part of
But I
it.
bet you when I click in now, it's
Businesses
gonna
are
be there.
already calling to contribute along the way. They want to
Aha,
keep
there you go.
that they're open and that they have activities for people that are participating.
So what is our timeline for putting up, taking down? Do we have a routine for that, right?
I think that's probably a good way of putting it, as a routine. We
Past
don't-
practice.
Yeah,
Past practice.
Yeah.
it's been 2 weeks before, no, wait. Yeah, 2 weeks before and 1 week after,
That's
generally.
about right.
And I think Holiday on the Green has been a little bit different. It's gone on almost till Christmas. But we were a co-sponsor of that one.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
that's my question.
Yeah, we had a member on the board or something.
The board, yeah, there's
Committee.
a couple of members, rec director and the COA director sit on the organizational
I
board.
would, I would always be in favor of putting it up a reasonable length of time in front, but when it's over, get it down. That's the real deal, is once the event is over, get it down.
Yeah, so maybe 3 weeks early and 1 day after.
Well, that's not been past practice though.
No.
Holiday in the Green was up for
Can I-
like.
Well, I
9 weeks
understand,
after.
but that, the holiday on the green is a little bit different.
I see, that's where I'm going to challenge you again. I don't think it's a little bit different.
We definitely had more
Maybe it's you I'm
direct,
gonna yell at. I
It
have no
didn't take
idea.
long, did it?
we had more direct
You
participation.
really are on the muscle tonight.
But we don't. That's the thing I keep, there is this perception that Holiday on the Green is a town event. It isn't. There is a Holiday on the Green committee on which people who work for the town sit,
Yeah,
but it is not our event. And so in that way, it is no different from this one.
then
The
why
town
would we have?
participates and supports it.
Well, we participate and support this one.
Do we provide the
See
various
what you've
people
done.
to help out with
See
it?
what you've done?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're arguing for no reason,
Yeah,
because
I was gonna say.
I don't think anyone has a problem with the dates that are outlined in
Here,
this.
can I try
unless I'm
something?
wrong.
Can I try something?
You can make a motion.
I would like to make a motion to vote to approve the request from the Tri-Town Human Rights Coalition to place one event banner on the town common on June 1st, 2026, and to be removed no later than June 30th, 2026.
I'll second that.
Okay, so that would be 1 week before and 3 weeks after.
Yep. 1 week before, that seems kind of,
And I feel like that fits almost exactly what Holiday in the Green was.
Holiday on the Green was supposed to come down on December 23rd.
It-
I'm not saying it did, I'm not saying it did,
But
but it was approved
the
through
event
December
was,
23rd.
the event was on a single digit December date,
December
so,
5th.
so that's 3 weeks roughly.
Or 2.
Come on,
I think the
you guys,
intention
come on,
is to
you
keep it
guys.
up for Pride Month.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, yes, that was in the request.
Okay, we have.
so,
Well, there's a first and a second anyway,
If
so
that
our
banner
motion
is
and a
still up
second.
on July 4th, we're gonna call you.
Last year, we took it down.
We did not
exactly
take
when we needed
advantage
to.
of our deadline. We took it down and
It
put
was
it up
on time.
exactly
Yes, very
within the
timely.
time window.
Mhm.
but do you want it just 1 week before? Wouldn't you want it 2 weeks before to have more?
The symbolism
attract-
is that it's up for June 1st to June 30th to represent LGBTQ Pride Month for the community.
All right,
If you're happy with that, I'm happy.
all right, I was gonna amend my motion, but now I'm just gonna shut up.
I would be more in favor for just sticking with, I guess, the 3 week, 1 week before, 3 weeks after. Or what do we say, past practice has been 2 weeks, other than something that may or may not be different. But I mean, 3 weeks after, I'm fine. I think this is just highlighting, we need to solidify our actual policy, since we all forget.
If it wasn't the month thing that we were trying to celebrate during that month, I would think the earlier, the more advertising value you get out of it. You don't really get the advertising value for the event afterwards. But
I'll bet you people are gonna know about the event. I don't think this banner is gonna be the way they're gonna find out.
But then that's the question, is this about the event or about Pride Month?
Well, the sponsors.
Right.
Yes.
So which sponsors celebrate Pride Month and stand proudly with our community? Right.
all right, so you guys are happy, people are happy with the calendar month.
Yes.
So I made a
Alright,
motion.
We've had a motion, we've had it seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting up with us.
Thank you for volunteering and doing the hard work, we appreciate it.
Thank you for
And
your
as was
time.
mentioned, thank you for coming in so early. I know that was a source of contention last year, so.
We take it seriously.
Yeah.
And we invite you all to march with us, as
And if
most of
that's
you
what
have
you
in the past.
Yeah.
would like to volunteer and be part of it, you can also do
Yeah.
that.
Marshall was on our committee when we started.
I was, and we didn't have a parade that year. It was
Did you
just
kick
the
him
picnic.
off?
No, he's very busy. You keep him busy.
You don't have the time of the march on the
I feel like I'm a
time of day. on the-
Emeritus member.
is the
1
march?
p.m.
1 p.m.?
It sounds like there's some information we didn't get. Cause you said you submitted it to Sam, so. Alright,
All right.
and she's ill, which is
Oh.
not her, no through fault, no
Yeah.
fault of her own.
So if they wanted to stick the time of day of the march on this banner, that would not be a substantive change. They could do that if they wanted to.
I think we would still have to cross that bridge when we get to it.
The request was that this is a draft of our banner and the specific sponsors will change as we roll out the event and roll out our sponsorships. These are last year's sponsors. We may add logos or add, or just the sizes on some of them if they up their sponsorship.
Okay, will we get a chance to look at those
Yeah.
again?
Definitely,
Alright.
yeah.
Perfect.
So when would you request we come back with that? Do we need to come to a meeting or just email it over?
When would you anticipate final sponsorship would be wrapped up?
With the banner printed or about to be printed, the deadline? Probably
You have
the
the
first
final
week of
draft,
May,
the final draft before you put it to the printer.
May 1st.
May 1st.
Yeah, so we could look to right for town meeting, which is the first Tuesday in May,
Right.
have you come in and just give an update very briefly. I think generally though, the board's voted to approve the design, it's just the sponsors and
Yeah.
the sizes, which is just a small technical, but I think it'd be good for the board to support it and ratify any changes too.
Perfect.
As far as I'm concerned, we've approved the concept, we've looked at what possibly the banner is gonna look like.
Yeah.
If you change that a little bit, as far as I'm concerned, if you bring it to him and let him see it, if he signs off of it, I'm happy with it. Now, there's other people here that may have a difference. The guy sitting at the end of the table down here might have a different.
Oh, no, I'm
Just woke them up.
I'm good with anything these people do, I'm good with.
Whoa,
They're the best.
whoa.
Thanks, Marshall.
You must have paid him off.
And I've already moved to item B on the agenda,
We
so.
don't have the funds to do that.
Right
The rest of us
now.
have, not yet.
We did vote on it.
Okay, next up is Osteria Pepino. We chatted about it last week. We're here just, I know there was some movement on Thursday, so we're looking to get an update.
Absolutely, so appreciate the opportunity. Our fire chief had a scheduled meeting for Thursday of last week. Part of the reason we delayed any vote on Monday of last week, extension or not. The fire department looked at the space, has approved the permit as presented and the work that's been done. It's now with the building inspector who's reviewing the permit request before issuing the permit. My recommendation would be to give it another 30-day extension on the common victual license to allow them to continue to work through their building approval component of the permit request.
So, Chief Brown, Collins Brown has signed off.
Her piece on the online permitting, she's approved the fire and life
And
safety.
it's on to other trades to,
The building department now has it for their review of the plans.
And it also,
Ray's got it now?
Yes.
and it also has to go through Board of Health, you'd mentioned.
Board of Health, I had a conversation, I believe he has signed off on that. If he hasn't already, all indications are based on a prior Board of Health Director's review of the application that it has sufficient septic to allow for the apartment that's being requested.
Who did that analysis for the septic?
It was done with the former building inspector, who's a PE, he's got an engineering, and he did the analysis to make sure that we have record of that septic system, it's 5 years old, 6 years,
No, it's 8 years old.
8 years old, so we have.
It's brand new 8 years ago, so.
So unlike some other applications where we don't have the records because they're much older, this one we have records that you can see the size, you can see how many seats they have in the restaurant and the additional uses for the apartments.
Do we have a date for the building inspector?
So building inspector, typically it's 30 days from the time that it's signed off from fire, so, but he already began his review of the application in its entirety, and I know he's been in contact today with the general contractor that the owners hired.
Okay, just cause I would hesitate to extend this more than 30 days if the building inspector's not gonna get to it, but it sounds like that should be no problem.
Unless there's any issues with the application, and I can't speak to that yet until he does his full review.
Correct, yeah. But I mean, Ray will have reviewed it within 30 days.
Ray is reviewing it now, so yes. My anticipation would be is that he should be able to either go back to the applicant if it's not a completed application, even though fire sign off, the rest of it, there's things missing in it. We will go back to the applicant and say, you're missing this, and then once they submit a full application with everything he needs, then the 30-day window starts for his review of that technically. But once he reviews the preliminary, it shouldn't take him that long once further information is provided.
Okay.
That's why I'm being a little bit non-committal to 30 days, only because until the building commissioner has reviewed its entirety and made a formal request for more information or not, the shot clock doesn't start until he has a full application, which in this moment he's reviewing to see if they do.
Okay.
So March, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All things being satisfactory, this should be doable within 30 days.
To issue the permit, yes, if there's additional work that's needed, there could be a number of things that, there's just a lot of unknowns once you go through the process, but as for reviewing and make a decision if it's complete or if they need more information, that will be done within 30 days of Thursday.
So if we get 21, 25 days out and there's additional work that turns out needed to be done, we can extend again.
Yes.
So I was gonna just point out, calendar-wise, March 31st is conveniently the end of the month and a Tuesday. I don't know if we have a meeting on Monday, March 30th, but I feel like we meet 7 times a week at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and guess we do. So if I were gonna make a motion, I would think that March 31st would make sense in terms of an extension.
We do have a work session scheduled for the 30th
Vote to
and April 1st.
I motion to approve the 2026 Common Victualers License Renewal for Osteria Peppino Pizzeria in the town of Topsfield with an expiration date of March 31st of the year in our Lord 2026.
Second.
And I don't even think I said it right. It's the year of our Lord.
Any other discussion here?
I have one request. Can Ray just provide you updates, like say weekly, that you can bring back to us so that we know as we approach that date, he can let us
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely, we talk on a regular basis on this, so it's
Yes.
been a lot of hurry up and wait. And then
Yes.
it's the fire had to get through the fire, but now, I'm sure we'll talk mostly every day, I'm sure on this one and as well as a couple other projects we're keeping close eyes on.
But even to that extent, like,
Did
something
something
was
second.
supposed to happen on
I'm
Tuesday,
not sure.
next
I
Tuesday,
feel like I did mine.
but then something else happened, so now that gets punted. From my perspective, what we're looking for, what we have to have is signs of progress, so that things don't stall and we're not here in December still working on it.
So do we need a second for Marshall's
Yeah,
very
I
gave a
favorite
second.
date?
She gave one. Yeah. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
Any abstentions? Alright. Alright. Next up is laying out the roadways.
See you later.
Thanks for coming in.
Front row opens up if anyone wants to move up.
I'll take that.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Alright,
That's what he's been waiting for.
I need to read the legal notice even though we opened it up last week, right?
It just, yeah,
I'm going to,
read
just.
the legal
Because I think
notice
we opened
saying that we're,
Did we close it again?
No, we
Continued it.
continued it.
Oh, we continued, yes.
Alright, so the legal notice from last week, notice is hereby given that the Topsfield Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, February 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. at Topsfield Town Hall, 8 West Common Street, Topsfield, Mass. 01983, pursuant to MGL Chapter 82, Section 21, to consider laying out and accepting the following ways as public ways: Aaron Drive, Beach Place, Deer Run, Evergreen Lane, Hickory Lane, Pearl Way, Pemberton Road, Pheasant Lane, Ruby Circle, and School Avenue. Signed by myself, Raphael McDonald, Select Board Chair. And just the reminder, we opened it last week. We had a pretty good doozy of a snowstorm, so our in-person meeting became a Zoom meeting. There were some people in town who had lost power. So I think we had most of our discussion at that time, but we wanted to make sure that anybody else who had any comments from the public was not waylaid by the weather, which is why we had continued the meeting.
Exactly.
So this is your time, if you want to talk about roads.
Here he is.
The big U.
Yeah.
I do not.
Alright, any discussion on public roadways? I know I have not received any comments, so,
Nope, you and I were in attendance at that meeting, and I think anyone who had concerns about that was at that meeting. It was pretty well tended to.
I had a question about that. How many people were at that meeting? An estimate, I mean,
A couple dozen.
a couple dozen, really? Okay.
Should I motion to close the public hearing? I just did, so.
Do we need some sort of vote first?
we have to first close the
Yeah.
public meeting, and then we can discuss anything else, and then we can vote on actual acceptance.
Oh,
Nobody has yet seconded my motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Alright, so on the motion to close the public hearing, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the public meeting, or the public hearing has been closed. Now,
I'm gonna make the motion right now. I'm just gonna dive right in and I'm gonna motion to lay out as a public way, Aaron Drive, Beach Place, Deer Run, Evergreen Lane, Hickory Lane, Pearl Way, Pemberton Road, Pheasant Lane, Ruby Circle, and School Avenue, and to include the matter on the warrant for the Topsfield 2026 Annual Town Meeting for acceptance as public ways.
I'll second.
Leaving me out to
alright,
hang there for.
so again, my guess is we had most of the discussion last week. Thank you very much. It was not a short discussion, but if you slept on it and had more questions, now is your opportunity.
I'm just glad we are clearing up this injustice to my old neighbors of 44 years on Deer Run.
See what happens when Bob gets on the board? Alright, all those in favor of accepting the roadways? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Whew. Fire. Next up is the Alfalfa Farms liquor license approval. And I'll turn that over to Mr. Hartunian first, unless Marshall's gonna make a motion already again.
You know, I'm not gonna make a motion, but I'm ready to describe this in the most simplest of ways, which is not Kevin's strength, but let's see what he's got.
Now he's being mean.
Challenge
Wow.
accepted.
Right? Prove them wrong.
ABC approved the licenses. Select board would need to vote, a final vote tonight to issue the license with the existing conditions from the prior meeting associated with it still.
And the existing conditions were,
Alright,
the
member,
existing conditions were,
from the unaccepted minutes, member Hook moved to approve the request from Paul Donhauser, blah, 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 and to be eligible for annual review and renewal contingent upon an updated ALAC letter indicating receipt of acceptable plan of operation, certificate of occupancy, and additional language and edits as presented.
okay, so it's contingent on this,
That was
Yes,
November
contingent
3rd.
upon Ray's inspections and so on and so forth.
They're not on our website as approved.
Which is
Oh,
something
okay.
that is inherent, but we called it out explicitly.
Okay,
So one of the things I did, we haven't seen the updated plan of operation with the updated hours. If you remember correctly, there was some question about when they would be serving and when they would close. And they said, oh, our plan of operation is wrong, it should be 30 minutes later. I don't think we've gotten that yet, so it's contingent upon that. ALAC did get an updated plan of operation, but they didn't focus on the hours. Certificate of occupancy is actually part of the license now. So I don't know if we even need that as a contingency.
As I said, inherent, but it's something that we focused on adding.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that's he knows he's been asking for occupancy from the building inspector to do an inspection coming up shortly.
And then the only other thing that I saw was it had the wrong date. It had December 31st, 2025 on one of the 3 licenses, so we just need to get that updated. That was clearly the intent.
Well, then I'm gonna make the motion. Motion to approve the request from Paul Donhauser of Essex County Cellaring LLC DBA Alfalfa Farm Cellars for a 19B Farmer Winery license, a 19C Farmer Brewery license, and a 19E Farmer Distillery license for 267 Raleigh Bridge Road, Topsfield, Mass. 01983 for 2026 and to be eligible for annual review and renewal. Second.
Contingent upon changing the date.
With
Well, yeah, we
Administrative
just
adjustment.
won't sign it until it has the right date, right?
Okay.
That's just the piece of paper, that's not considered in the motion.
Oh, good point. Any other discussion? Okay. Oh, wait, we haven't had a second.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I
Oh,
did.
you did?
Yeah.
I got you covered.
All right, all those,
So, do we have another vote when the occupancy permit gets
No.
issued, or is that just
That's not us.
opens the door and away we go?
As soon as he has the right to occupy, the license kicks into effect.
so without that occupancy license, the pouring license doesn't exist either.
It's dormant.
It's like a common victual in the liquor license with Asteria. We talked about that. How they they're married, similar.
Okay.
And I may have missed this, but did you give a potential ETA for that occupancy permit?
So my building inspector had a conversation late last week, Ray, with them. He's gonna do a preliminary just walkthrough,
Oh,
as a courtesy, just to make sure he gives any heads up as they're finishing up, just so we're ahead of it, which was something that we both agreed would be a good idea, or all parties agreed would be a good idea. To expedite as much as possible and to get it right. And so then two of the buildings are in different phases of completion. One is basically there, one needs a little bit more work, so there's conversations around occupying one, coming back to the other. The site needs to be safe too, parking, et cetera, so that's part of the final punch list. Ray will be up there this week and either tomorrow or the day after to do a walkthrough with the contractor informally, and then they'll do their last sprint, and then they'll be coming in for final inspection.
So Ray is also responsible for inspecting the parking and grounds.
So technically, building is within the building, but it is under the building code to make sure that the grounds are safe. You need to have access from the building to the right of way, the main road, and making sure that there's safe access from anywhere where the customers might be parking as well.
Okay.
So he's the line of defense without going for any additional permitting for a special permit for event and conference center or something like that. Ray's the one making the call to make sure that the site is appropriate.
What does Paul intend to do for his parking? Is he gonna have asphalt or gravel or?
Believe it's crushed stone. He's doing it in an environmentally friendly way. So that it's
Like over at
I
the,
think it's crushed stone.
barn over there by,
Gould Barn?
Yeah, the Gould Barn.
A little different. That's I think a higher quality system that they have over there, but it'll be similar. It'll be appropriate to prevent any erosion or anything to happen like that.
And so he's the one that issues the parking permit?
The parking permit?
What's the license says shall also include obtaining parking and outdoor lighting permits.
Yeah, so
I'm saying that comes from Ray, not from some other entity in town.
no, Ray is right now the sign off for the completion of the project. So parking and lighting is part of he'll be part of his review for the occupancy purposes.
Okay. So it's just worded a little bit differently. It's not a separate
It's not a separate permit for those items.
It's
The
a
occupancy
consideration in the occupancy permit.
for the safe conversing of people who venture into the facility, to the facility.
Yeah, so I suspect he hasn't been able to make the progress he would like on the parking, given the weather we've had.
I'm not sure where he is. I mean, again, it's all, he needs the occupancy permit to be able to operate, and Ray's gonna let him know that it needs to be at a certain level standard of the parking lots.
Of course, that's not a long lead time activity.
And he's getting a
Fresh
stormwater
stone.
permit as well. He's going through that process with the planning board for runoff and things of that nature. So all the permits required outside of just occupancy are getting worked on as well, but they are connected.
All right, so also the stormwater, okay. All right,
Any other discussion? Okay, on the motion to approve the liquor licenses, all those in favor?
all right,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
are we doing these one by one, or that covered all three?
No, that covered all of
That's
them.
it,
Okay,
that's it.
Covered all three. All right, and that brings us next up to, here we go. The Eastern Essex Veteran Service bylaw approval and contract acceptance.
So, just by way of update to the board, Dick Cullinan, veteran in town, has been our VSO for many, many years. As I've said in the past, has indicated every year I've been in town administrator that he planned to retire that year. This year he did, which we're very happy for him to be able to make that transition. But he served many, many veterans in this community and the broader community in many incredible ways during his tenure as our VSO and as a resident.
For a little money.
Uh,
He agreed to keep it low.
I think Mr. Cullen would say it was a calling and a passion,
It was.
and that was his priority of why he served our community so well.
Yeah.
So the transition period, we historically have used the Eastern Essex Veteran Service Office to be our backup when Mr. Cullen would take time away from the office. As a retiree, he did enjoy going to Florida each winter, like many of us wish we could be.
That's where he is now.
is that right?
And fortunately, we had a positive relationship where we had the group that we're working with now helping us out. But when the transition took place, I did speak with the director, Steve, who's here tonight. And I'm going to introduce him in a minute to say a few words about what he's doing and who he is and what the services his group offers. It's a district, so it's a little bit different. We had a contract with Dick Cullinan as an individual to serve in the capacity he did. This would be a district where we're one of 6 communities total. With addition to that, as we went through our process, we looked at another option as well. Very positive in those conversations and brought it back to the veterans. Went to the American Legion meeting. Dick Cullen and I explained where we were, talked about the 2 options. Then we brought it back to the board, and I know we talked about what the preference might be. And with 2 very good options, but with the familiarity that Steve has with our veterans and the endorsement from Dick Cullinan, although a slightly more expensive option than the 2, it was one that we felt was the right one to go with. Make sure we have that white glove service continues. So I've gotten to know Steve very well over the last couple of months. I was up at their board meeting last week. It's a little under the weather, but we managed to get through that okay. I did promise Steve I'd be there, and we were there to show our support and that our willingness to be a participant in the district. So I appreciate that opportunity. One of our key functions as leaders in this community is to protect those in our community, those most vulnerable and those who have earned the right to have the support systems and both financially and as sometimes as a social worker to be available to our people. And I think Stephen's going to do amazing work, not only supporting the communities he already represents, but now being a part of our Topsfield team. And so we're excited to bring him on, excited to be a partner, excited meet the board the other night, and they were a great group of people. So tonight we have two things. One, introduction of Steve. Our contract is greater than 25,000. It'll be about 31,000 next fiscal year when that starts. So the bylaws that bind us to the district and ultimately bind us to the appropriation that we will need to make is greater than, so it does need approval of the bylaws, which of the select board for those reasons. That will then bind us into the relationship within the terms and conditions of the district. There is a 60-day notice prior to the end of the fiscal year if we wanted to exit the relationship. So there are safeguards around that. Confident we won't necessarily need to look at those in the future, but if we do, they're there. And then second piece, beyond just the approval of these bylaws, which binds us into the contract, the obligations of the district to provide the service for veteran services, is we do need a representative to represent us on the board. Each town has a representative. I did talk with Dick Cullinan around his potential interest in stepping up. He said he would do it to the end of this calendar year, if we so wanted to appoint him on the board, and then he'd look to transition that to somebody else. I think it makes for a very good connecting our experiences and expectations, marrying that with on the board that then hopefully directs the actions for the team that we're working with. So my recommendation to the board would be to both approve the bylaws, allowing us to join the district, regional district, partnering with Steve and his team, and then secondarily consider voting Dick Cullinan as our representative till the end of the calendar year. Steve, did you want to say any words tonight before the board asks questions or discussion?
So my name's Steve Bond. I was born and raised in Salem, not too far away from here. I joined the Army fresh out of high school after a friend was killed in Iraq from Swampscott. I used to be a chef, believe it or not. So, but towards the end of my deployment in Afghanistan, I was injured by a suicide bomber. Spent about 7 months at Walter Reed Army Hospital. They had to give me 3 spinal surgeries. They had to reconstruct my bladder 3 times my intestines. That was a long time ago. But that's really where I developed my passion for helping veterans, obviously, laying in the hospital bed, dealing with paperwork and applications. It was confusing. And then I worked for a Wounded Warrior Project for 11 years out of Florida. So I actually had the honor of testifying at a Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs hearing at the Capitol building on the quote-unquote seamless transition from DoD healthcare to the VA and how their systems just don't really communicate as well. But after that, so in 2021 to 2023, I was Congressman Moulton's Veterans Director for 2 years. So that's really where I got all my relationships with the veteran service officers in the whole 6th district. So it really paved the way for me to take the position 2 years ago as the veteran service officer. I still have all of those great relationships with all of the VSOs in the 6th district. I've got my accreditation through the Vietnam Veterans of America. So I have actually my PIV card, so I have access to VA systems, which not every VSO in the state has. They send it to a middleman or a middle person in Boston, and then they actually submit the claim. Where I cut that out, I directly have access to the VA systems. I can print out any mailings that the veteran may have lost or lost in the mail, their rating code sheets, anything. So I'm very hands-on with the VA, federal benefits, state benefits. I'm accredited with the state so that you will get 75% of Chapter 115 benefits. I know there's no Chapter 115 recipients at the moment, but I look forward to getting to know all the veterans in the community and everyone at Town Hall as well. So,
I got a couple, are you done?
oh yeah,
I got a couple of questions.
Yeah, of course.
But first of all, I'm happy to hear about your association with the Wounded Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm a small donor to the
Thank you.
Wounded Warriors.
That's awesome.
So it's good to hear that the validation from your participation. But what is the this group, the Essex Veteran Services? Is this a non-governmental organization? Is it what is it?
No, we're municipal. We just make up a district pretty much. So my board is a select person from each town makes up my board, and they're my boss. So I present my budgets to everybody. They sign off, go back to their select boards, and relay all the.
So you're part of the Ipswich town government, but you have a representative span across the various communities?
Roger, so I'm not just employed by one single town, I'm pretty much represented by all towns. But I do still belong to the Essex Retirement Board. And I know you guys use KP Law, which we use, so that's a great relationship right there. But yeah.
So it's a governmental organization, but it's unique in that it's made up of several different
Roger.
town sponsors. So
That's why the Executive Office of Veteran Services, honestly, they prefer more districts than just single town VSOs. So eventually they are gonna want everybody to become a district. It's just easier that way.
This is all based on Mass General law.
Roger, chapter 115.
I've read the bylaws.
Yep.
And I don't have any problem with any of that. I'd just like to start by saying, I'd be a fool to question your qualifications.
Thank you, sir.
And you know Dick Cullinan pretty well.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I don't have any question about your ability to take over this. I would just like to ask Kevin and maybe yourself, obviously Dick doesn't have a problem with doing this because this guy is eminently qualified to perform this job, okay? So I can't imagine that Dick would have any concern about it at all.
Well, he recommended it, right?
He did, and I know he doesn't. I've talked to Dick about it, okay? So everything is cool. I don't have any problem with it at all. I think you would be a wonderful addition. I'm sorry for all the, excuse the word, crap that you went through as a veteran, as an army officer.
And we're thrilled you recovered so well.
I'm glad you're gonna be here. I'm glad you're gonna be here.
I'm July.
But I had another question. So I was looking through the bylaws and I saw they pick I guess the board picks a treasurer from one of the participating towns.
Yeah.
But I was a little confused where it said the treasurer has to provide a bond. How does that work?
What do you mean? So
Article 7 of the bylaws says, the district treasurer shall give to the district a bond with a surety company authorized to transact business in the Commonwealth, a surety for the faith of performance. So I guess that's a bond that's designed to reimburse the district if the treasurer somehow fails to perform the duties and loses some money. Is that what it is?
No,
about?
so like we have a surplus. So we actually just had a surplus where we gave back money to the towns. So we do, we had 150,000, so they did agree to keep, 75, and then we dispersed 75 back to the towns. But with the bond, I think that's just I don't, the treasurer would have to speak on that. She's out of Raleigh, Karen Summit. She's the treasurer.
So Mr. Metz, I could probably tackle
It's
it.
a surety bond.
So anytime you have someone who handles the money, we have this for our treasurer's offices as an example here in Topsfield. Individually, you have to be bonded. They look at your credit score, they look at your history, and then basically they'll put money forward, a bond forward to basically verify that they're gonna do the work that's necessary and that won't commit fraud or things of that nature.
But the bonds I'm
Missing
familiar
money.
with, surety, performance bonds,
Hmm.
the vendor buys that from an insurance company. So in this case, is the treasurer paying an insurance company to get the bond, or
It's
does
probably
the
in the line.
district pay the
It's the
fee for the
district.
bond?
So we have, all of our insurance and everything, we have line items for. I can speak to the treasurer, like I said, I can speak to her and get back to you with that, because I don't know direct answer
I'm
for
sure that's
that.
gotta be what it is.
So it would be the same way our insurance with Maya would work, is that we have number of coverages and one of them is gonna be your surety bonds. And so we have a fee that we pay to cover in order for the bond agency, for that surety bond to take place and the company cover it for our employees. So that's systematically how it works pretty much universally, so I would imagine that's how it works with your insurance as well, Steve.
It'd be nice to know for sure.
Yeah, no, I'll ask her tomorrow morning. I can definitely get back to you for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You have, so I'll say your office is in Ipswich,
Yes, town hall.
and what Total number of staff for you and your team?
So as me, my assistant Tony is an F-16 mechanic, worked on F-16s, fellow veteran. So yeah, it's him and I, and then we have obviously our board with our treasurer who keeps all the finances. And, our chairman, like I create warrants for every Chapter 115 recipient. They have to get approved by my chairman of the board. Any office expense, even $25, I have to get it signed off. I can't just. Yeah, so everything is, standard, we keep track of everything. Every 3 months, we come with financials, explain everything quarterly, so, yeah.
And do you plan to come to this town hall at all? Like, will you have like monthly
Yep.
office hours?
Yeah, so the Council on Aging, that's where I do once a month, I go for an hour. Actually, we gotta speak to the Council on Aging just to figure out an exact best day every month that works and works for everybody. But we will put that in the COA newsletters. That's generally how we do. We let veterans know I'll be there, yeah.
So you're accessible all the time, it's
Oh.
just that you'll be here once a month about.
Yeah, I do a lot of house calls. I just dropped off a bunch of records to a veteran in Topsfield last week. So yeah, especially a lot of people don't want to discuss their private matters, and and I totally understand that. So I'll bring my laptop and we can e-sign, get stuff signed on my laptop. So,
Perfect,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
He's a busy dude. I've seen him in Topsfield already, at town hall already a couple of times.
I had a table at the fair last November, so they graciously gave us a table for free at the entrance right at the office, so it was a great day.
I have
So
a
you
piece
know,
of
when you
paper.
say a bunch of records, I'm envisioning you walk up with.
Oh no, I had
Stack of vinyl.
I legit had a stack of records from the National Personnel Records Center, so.
I've got a-
Not music records, I'm seeing you like to get his turntable down.
I've got a piece of paper here that came out that we got through you called the Administrative Budget Approval. And it shows all the towns involved, their populations, and the percentage that we're responsible for. And that winds up, with all these towns put together, that winds up to a fairly sizable piece of money,
13.
$236,000
Total, yeah.
total.
Yep.
Where does all that money go? I mean,
With the line item budget.
well,
So we have a
okay,
line.
so you got a budget that can justify that $236,000.
It's got three
On board.
employees, there's 3 of you in the office?
It's on board.
Well, yeah, and a half.
3.5.
Yeah.
Well, I've
benefits.
seen it, but I can't understand.
With
that.
benefits, right?
Yes.
So that's a substantial.
So,
part.
well,
Okay.
they're saving a lot of money on health
I haven't,
insurance, cause me and my
Yeah,
my
I've got
assistant,
that.
we use VA, so they are saving
You're
probably
in-
at least $80,000, $90,000 with me and my assistant in place without insurance, so.
So my only
Okay.
question is, are you ready for Topsfield to come and scrutinize the budget on a line by line basis?
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm an open book, honestly. I can
yeah.
come and.
I can promise you right now, it's not gonna be me.
Because the one thing that jumped out at me is 17% is for the retirement system contributions. And we just had the retirement guy here last week. I wish we could ask him, because that seems like an outsized portion. We're not paying 17%
We're paying 13 point
of our total.
of the total
Yeah.
operating budget, and that's per line. So if you break it up by a
Yeah.
line basis, multiply whatever that line is by 13 point, what's the?
28.
28, 13.28%.
Oof.
All these towns under here.
Yeah, down at the bottom.
I think they are.
It
But you
is
did say
Ipswich, Raleigh,
you're part of the
Essex,
Essex County Retirement System.
Yep.
Newbury.
So-
Newbury, and us.
There's gotta be
Yeah.
some consistency there if they're part of the same retirement system.
Same executive director, same staff, same investments.
Kevin,
Okay.
You've got a lot of towns to take care of.
so we used to have 8.
You comfortable with that?
Oh, I've already been filing VA claims the past year for Topsfield, so I mean, it's nothing new for me. But before I joined, they did have Hamilton and Wenham, with the old director, that was before me. But yeah, so they did have 8 towns before.
You're gonna be busy.
Hey, ain't my first rodeo, sir.
Yeah, you've been through it. As I said, I'd be.
So there's
fool.
actually two things that we need to do. We need to, if I'm understanding correctly, we need to officially enter into the agreement, which makes us part of the establishment or part of the
District of
district.
Yes,
And
you
then
got
we
this-
also need to enter into the financial component. So there's two things we need to do here. Is that right?
But the
Yeah.
motion
There's two
centers-
motions here.
Right.
No, there's,
Well,
there is two motions,
Yeah.
or there are two motions.
So with that, I'll vote to enter into an agreement between the town of Topsfield and the Eastern Essex Veterans Service District for the purpose of establishing and maintaining an office to furnish information, advice, and assistance to veterans and their families.
Second.
Any discussion?
God, he woke up.
No, I've been awake. I'm just ready to,
Second win.
You're monopolizing all these motions in seconds.
Alright, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to enter into an agreement between the town of Topsfield and the Eastern Essex Veteran Services District for fiscal 2027 services in the amount of $31,448.55.
Second.
Thank you.
It's Marshall.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hustle us along.
Just one item of discussion.
Absolutely.
We didn't pay Dick Cullen very much money.
We went over that.
Well, but I didn't.
For a second, didn't embarrass poor
What
Dick.
what kind of number do we gotta come up with in our budget to
That
cover
one, that one.
Yeah, $31,448.55.
12.
He was paid 12.
Okay, that answers my question.
I think Boyd was out those 2 days that we had discussed this earlier. So that's
I'm
what-
out most of the time anyway.
Alright, yes.
There's also, it's not a motion that's been in the detail, I believe, but there is
To
also the
appoint-
considerations of appointing Dick Cullinan to the board through the end of this calendar year.
Okay, let's finish this one first. So
Minor.
all those in favor on the motion to enter into the agreement with the amount of $31,448.55?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so now, if I also understand, the third one that we need to do is appoint our designee, which can be the chair of the select board, the town administrator, or in our case, it has been recommended that Dick Cullinan stay on for almost as a transition period, as our designee. So I'll.
Can I go with so moved?
Oh, that sounds good. Second.
Sam's gonna kill you. Alright, all those in any discussion on Mr. Cullinan staying on?
You've
How
had
often is this-
conversation with Dick about staying on?
I had a conversation with him today and he confirmed his interest through the end of the calendar year.
I did as well.
How often does the district meet?
Every quarterly. Except during budget season, obviously, where it could be a few times more just to get everything squared away.
We know about that.
Oh, yeah, I know you do.
That's good, cause he's an old retired guy, doesn't have anything else to do anyways,
Except go to Florida,
except go to Florida,
which isn't.
where he is now.
On the motion to approve Mr. Cullinan as the designee.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Alright, I don't know if we've ever had 3 motions under one thing before, and they all passed.
I like your style, sir.
All right, the red hair.
I want more people to say Roger as an answer.
Oh, it's a habit. It's just a habit. I try to break it.
And thank you for your service.
I sincerely appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
No, thank you. It's a lot.
Gary, you hear that? Roger. Let's see if we can work that in.
It's a lot of Veterans Day services you have to go to now.
Oh, believe you me, I go to like 4 sometimes in one day, so I sincerely appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we
Thank
hope
you,
to
man.
see you at our.
I appreciate it, thank you so much.
Alright, with that brings us to the next item, which is, oh, this looks new.
Oh, goody.
Town meeting warrant and budget, update, review, and discussion of capital plan budget.
I'm gonna go find a cup of water, but you can feel free to get going.
No updates.
Marshall, come back, no updates.
No, I can stretch it. I'll stretch it for you if you
No,
want.
don't
I'll
stretch.
it. So, Next action items on the warrant is to take the feedback from the last work session last week, incorporate it into a version 6. That will be distributed by the end of this week. I'm waiting hopefully to get some more language from KP Law to get a version with a little more meat on it, but the discussions we had and the edits that were proposed will be incorporated in the next version. And then we'll take it from there.
Where are we now, at 503?
That's the last version, yes.
That's the last version?
5.03, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna see an update, 504 coming soon?
Version
I
6
don't care
will
when, I
incorporate-
mean, we're ahead of schedule anyway, so
Yeah.
next, coming up to
I'm hoping
504.
before the end of this week, but I am a little bit reliant on KP Law and their language and some of their articles. So we're gonna keep
Well, I
pushing.
understand that, and we got Masco issues as well, I mean, you're waiting for Masco stuff.
It's true.
Okay.
It's also accurate.
So there's a lot of yellow left, but you're waiting on other people.
There was Thursday a call with Masconomet around their larger capital ask,
Yeah.
which I don't know, Mr. Chair, if you want to update that at your updates. Yes. So I will just say that aside from the larger capital ask, it was the first time we've heard that they're looking potentially for some miscellaneous capital for this year.
Say again?
Some miscellaneous capital in the 600, 800,000 that'll be split between the three communities. Typically, we do it out of free cash, but it's very late in our process to be getting that request. And so the three TAs are meeting tomorrow to discuss, and we're hoping that Masco will find a way to bring that number down, especially considering the bigger.
6 to 8 per community or total?
No, total.
So we were looking anywhere, still giving it 200. I think we have a little bit of room because we have a good healthy free cash number. We've allocated what we thought would be allocated. Number changes slightly every time we do a warrant and some more information comes in, so it's 50,000 up, 50,000 down, 100,000 up. This will be another 100, 150 is what I'm expecting, hopefully less. There was indications from the chair that they would potentially bring that down. That is separate from what the chair will update at during his updates, which is a more significant, larger, but in the immediate, the miscellaneous capitals, one of the changes that you could see on the next version of the warrant as well, beyond just the KP language.
And I think one thing on that, the KP language, we wanna pay attention to, we are like leading edge on this micro mobility, but we haven't seen anything. So,
Well, I keep seeing
we saw
MB,
some drafts.
MB,
right,
waiting for, yeah.
We saw some drafts.
we saw a draft, I think that was 2 months ago.
It's just a general sense
So,
of sort of
right.
what the chief had found that he was generally comfortable with to get us started. I know KP has indicated they have people working on it now, so.
So like I always tell my colleagues, it's great that we're ahead of the curve, we wanna stay there, we don't wanna fall behind. So, if there are any other comments,
I have two things.
get those to Kevin. The other thing is, I think we're still gonna have discussion on some strategy around number 3 and number 6. 6
Yep.
is Essex, how we handle the increase there as well. Like, we don't have the final number, so it's a little premature to decide what to do, what our final numbers
Can't
should
do it
be.
yet.
$95,000.
But
It's finalized. We got it earlier today.
$95,000
Net,
override.
that's the new number for Essex Tech above what was allocated by the finance
I was
committee.
hoping he was gonna say found money, and that was for number 3.
So total override would be 95, or that's for just Essex Tech?
That's Essex Tech's
Okay.
net amount from, their number was 108,000 year over year. And we had allocated, I think, 12,000,
No, wait, it was
13,000.
108,000 increase,
Year over
you
year
said?
increase, yes.
but now it's coming in at 95 instead?
No, so the net amount from the 108
The net amount.
and what was allocated in the financial, what we built in our model per our conversation with FinCom early in the process was, I think, about $14,000. And so that's basically the difference, a difference of 14,000 and 108 is about $95,000.
Okay.
So the
So
question,
Well, so do we have any choice?
well, the question again becomes, how do we handle that? If you put it as its own separate override, because that's past guidance, and it fails, we still get stuck with the bill. Or do you somehow find a way to put that into
Into your
the
budget.
general
Yeah,
override?
without putting the base budget in
Mr.
there.
Metz mentioned
Yeah, yeah.
And I think my team's meeting tomorrow morning, the finance team, and we had a conversation, we didn't get to it tonight when I was up at the finance committee, but I know that We'll work with everybody, all the stakeholders, trying to come up with a thoughtful way. I mean, there's the strategy of putting like overlay money towards it, which is one time, but that delays that money needing to be raised next year. And we know that with the change in how they're doing enrollment, we're expecting a significant increase next year as well. Could be double what we're looking at this year, real dollars, if not more. So do we find a way to basically bridge the gap for this year, avoid asking the taxpayers for more money for this year, but then ask for it for next year? But using one-time funds is mortal sin too, so we need to balance what that looks like. But we are in a tough spot in what we have for capacity when it comes to the levy capacity. Free cash is a little different. We're in a little bit better space. Still always very thoughtful in how we appropriate the funds for free cash, but operating budget's certainly something we've had, as we know in our discussions, in our work sessions and regular meetings. It's gonna be a challenging year, but we've got the right team working on it, and we'll come up with some solutions to present.
Alright, so next time we'll be able to dive into Article 6, how hopefully we can we decide as a board how we're gonna present that and where the money's, how we're gonna
Where
put
it's
the
gonna
money
come
in.
Next work session, I think we can dig our teeth and do it a
That'd be
little bit
great.
better. Yep.
And then also Article 3, again about how much we need, which we're getting fine every time we're getting
It's
closer
coming
and
down,
closer. But also how much, if we ask for anything above that in terms of the override. So remember, we started off, I think, somewhere between $200,000 and $605,000 for an override ask. We've since whittled that down. I think the last time we talked, we were $260,000 to $400,000. So we do need to come up with a final number at some point.
I'm sure we will at some point.
Yeah.
And now every piece, because the schools are always the unknowns, as we get like elementary schools trying to hit the mark of what the guideline was, which is great to know where they're at and that they genuinely have wavered. So I think that's what we expect. Masco is a little late, but we're getting indications what that number might look like for overrides. It will be override, at least one, probably two. Now we know Essex Tech, that's kind of the last piece of the operating budget and the levy capacity equation besides ourselves. So it's getting clearer now. We get to dig in and say, how do we solve for this problem? Happens every budget season. You head in a direction, then you get something comes in and knocks you off the track. But like I said, we always find ways to get there, and we will again this year. It's just, this is a little bit bigger with the Essex Tech, especially when we have some limited levy capacity.
And Masco is targeting next week to have numbers to us and to FinCom.
So do we have a better idea of when the official insurance number is gonna come in?
Within the next couple of weeks.
That's what I said the last time.
And then what time before that?
Well,
And the time.
last time was just last week, so.
Still within my
Still
time
happen.
frame. Yeah, we're at the mercy, but we have good relationships, and we have a better sense, we have a really good sense of where we're gonna land. And we've built that into our model. It doesn't move the needle much from what we've been projecting.
Can you remind me when the warrant finalized for print?
So we go to print, we wanna go to print at the end of March.
End of March.
So we have basically just short of a month to get everything locked up. The biggest one is Masco, because we're gonna find out their budget in the next week or so, and that gives us a couple more weeks. Our budget we've been working on, and we've been talking about it since the fall. So we have a really good handle of sort of what we're up against and where we're probably gonna land. We talked about the word override, and it's the reality this year. Health insurance, pensions, snow and ice. We just saw it.
Oh, yeah. How far,
We don't blame you.
Larry, how far over are we?
$110,000.
Is that right?
So we have some work to do, and that's part of snow and ice is a little bit different because you can raise it on page 2 of the recap, which is how capacity ultimately can get built in as well. So there's a lot of different levers that we're working through. But it's been over a decade since we've had any increase in the operating budget for snow and ice. Some years we get lucky and we get close to budget and we're under. Some years like this, it's significantly over 50%, close to 50% over budget. So
Other than a little icing, it should be melting from here on out. Just melting.
there's some wood right behind you, sir.
Next week
If you
it's
don't
gonna
mind
do
just
that.
knocking that, thank you.
Gonna do that.
They did
Monday.
us. They did a great piece on the radio, about 20 minutes, talking about snow and ice in municipal budgets on GBH.
I heard that.
Uh-huh.
I think
Geez, I'm sorry, I missed it.
It was good.
I'm sure it
And
was.
it's basically, the narrative was, I heard that every town and city is dealing
Yep.
with the exact same thing, because nobody inflates their budget so that you have the money for the once in every 10-year storm like we're seeing. Last time was 15-16, right? And now we're 2025, 2016. You try to manage a budget that's conservative so that you don't ask for more from taxpayers than what you really need. But when you do have over a decade of no increase, looking at a 10% increase, or even I think we're asking for a 5% increase this year, it's the very basic minimum that I think we should be asking for, but it's trying to do something to offset that. But with the recovery of the 110, we have some ideas with overlay and some of the page 2 adjustments that can cover that cost as well. So our team behind this, between meetings, are working very hard trying to figure out all the different numbers and tangibles and how do we make sure we land that plane as smoothly as possible.
So I had two quick, little more obscure things. One was the last meeting, I was wondering, what was this prudent investment rule versus what is now allowed? And what is now allowed is basically money market instruments with short-term treasuries also allowed. So prudent investment rule is basically a reasonable mix of stocks, bonds, and shorter terms instruments. Now, which confused me because I hadn't focused on the words that this article is only for the trust funds. Apparently,
is.
It's not for municipal cash management. So I think there's a value to sticking a sentence in that one about, this doesn't apply to municipal cash balances.
I could probably come up with some language.
Which I can give you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or you could just
Yeah.
share me, if you wanna send me an email with the line, I can build it into the next version.
Okay, and the other thing is, we have money in one of the warrant articles for a control system for the air conditioning at the library. So I was looking at Raphael was nice enough to send me some material about the trust funds, since he was previously a high-level
Commissar.
commissioner.
Commissar.
High-level commissioner.
For commissar.
Commissar. And lo and behold, the language excerpted out of some of these trust funds seems to match operational or structural needs. Repair and upkeep of the facility is the language. So Raphael's been good enough to connect me to somebody who's still a commissar, and I'm going to be talking to him in the next day or two.
Tom or Mark or?
Tom.
I know that the director of the library did at my request after conversations earlier that we had to ask if we can use school fund money to cover the costs. And my understanding is that the request was not seen favorably. So but if
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, but I mean, because in the past it hasn't, the straying beyond books and concerts and art in the yard was looked on very unfavorably.
Well, when we talked about it the other night, you brought that up as a subject, and we said, no, you can't use the Gould Fund for that.
Well,
But
it turns out you
maybe-
can,
Maybe
literally.
maybe it deserves more attention and see
Right.
really what the Gould Fund says.
It looks like it says you can, but the practice may be to be
So for-
ultra.
The practice has been.
For
Conservative
example,
yeah.
they have paid to replace the rugs, they've paid to paint the walls. And I think what they're gonna need to do is go back and find out if there are any guiding principles or policies that they've used in the past.
Is it ultimately up to the elected commissioners of trust funds though?
And the treasurer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there
So,
are
well,
examples where they've
if
said
it-
yes,
Yeah.
and the treasurer has said no.
There's been some disputes in the past about looking at the actual language of the law that maybe the library trustees. But. we
If
don't
they wanna
do that
use,
yet.
the library trustees decide what the money should be used for. If they want to use the income from the trust funds that has to be signed off on by the commissioners.
Okay, so anyway, we're not to that point yet, still have some conversations to go. But another thing, for example, the Historical Society has some excellent resources, online resources about the history of Topsfield, especially Topsfield families going back hundreds of years. And right now, they're able to have one person access these databases in the Gould Barn. There's actually an office and a file retention area in the Gould Barn.
And that
In-
file
out of the-
system is huge.
Yeah, out of that office. But you can get multiple party licenses, so we could have licenses in the library, for example. So that's another thing that would be right on point to be used. And I think one of the assistant librarians expressed some interest in that at some point.
I think you should run for commissioner of trust funds.
I don't really have enough.
Or
to
the
do.
historical commission.
So anyway, that's what I've got for tonight.
But Bob is now seeing that those trust funds are written for very specific things. Hopefully you saw that one of them is not just for books, but for mystery books. Specifically for mystery books. And the other thing to keep in mind is many of those trusts were combined into a single one. For decades and decades, they were each individually managed. When Eastern Bank took that over, they're now blended. They keep track of how much money goes into which one, but it's actually
One fund, but
invested as a
allocated.
fund. Yeah, exactly.
So, it was interesting what you said about specific purposes. One of them is dedicated to maintaining the grounds and lawn and edging of the town common.
Of the town common.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send them the bill.
I think it's for the Veterans Green.
Yeah, there's one for the Veterans Green also.
And then
As well.
for anybody who's listening, again, I know the commissioners struggle. There are 3 different trusts for people who need a little bit of help. They're called the Poor People's Funds, but they're really just for someone who needs a little bit of temporary help
I have to tell
financially
you, as,
for multiple things. All you have to do is ask and fill out an application. And then there are some qualifications, of course.
as a communications professional, I would suggest we
Never call that a name again.
find a way to maybe change the names of those trusts. But.
It is in fact the actual.
One of them was
That's right.
specifically for single women
Oh,
Yeah.
in
Yes,
Topsfield as
yeah.
well.
well, this town was founded in what, the 1600s, so
There's some
things were a
old
little different
trusts.
back then.
Okay, we're way off topic.
We
Was,
are.
sorry, anything else on the warrant?
Negative.
Okay,
Nothing on the warrant. I just wanna make a comment about a statement that you made a little bit ago, and maybe I didn't quite understand it.
can we
But
call
you-
this the beginning of select board updates? Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Okay. You were talking about the Masco budget a little while ago.
Yes, sir.
And the input that we need from Masco.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned the fact that they called miscellaneous funds, miscellaneous requirements or something.
Capital.
To miscellaneous capital requirement to the tune of several tens of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands. That.
You want me to jump in? So if
Yeah.
you remember, this was about 3 years ago, they developed a list that was close to $1 million
Yeah.
of multiple things that they wanted to get done. And we said no in 1 year, not just us. They've split it up into 3. That's just a terrible name. It's their laundry
Yeah,
list of
okay.
capital.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
One small correction, so
Laundry list
they
is
came in
really
with, it was roughly $1 million, like you said. The 3 town administrators said the administration would be preferred if we could break that into 2 years actually. And so 2 years ago and last year were the 2 years that we understood there was gonna be miscellaneous capital. So this was a little bit of a surprise last week when
Oh,
they
I thought this was the continuation. It's not.
No, I mean, I don't know if they're starting to create a continual trend after the last 2 years, but it was a 2 year, the 3 of us who were on the calls basically were communicating and said that, you know, this is something they should have told us sooner because it's something that is new. It wasn't built into a plan necessarily. We have good partnerships, we do have good communications. This one, I think there was some opportunities earlier in the process to be made aware of. Requests never came in, it was solely about the larger capital, which the chair is gonna talk about in a minute.
The only point I wanted to make, they were talking about $600,000 or $800,000 in miscellaneous expenses.
Yes.
And I said, if that's the kind of world that they're living in, if 600,000 or 800,000 is miscellaneous, for Christ's sake, you know, that's the world they live in over there.
A billion
This
here, a
meeting-
billion there,
Yeah.
pretty soon you're talking about real money.
This meeting is being broadcast.
Hmm?
This meeting is being broadcast.
Any other updates?
None.
Nope. All right, let's go to Mr. Metz.
I think I covered mine. I may think of something else and I'll jump in at the end.
You can ask to jump. Mr. Hook.
I'm just gonna say that the mailbox metric for my estimation has been very good for my friends in the snow removal department. I have seen very few mailboxes freed from their posts.
Freed.
So I would add, I could.
Yeah, please.
It's been actually a very purposeful effort by our Department of Public Works where instead of in one sweep trying to clear as far close to the edge as they can during the storm, they're when it's hardest to navigate, they're actually pulling a little bit closer inward and then coming back with specialty equipment after the storm and then pulling it out. So that allows us to be a little more precise when it comes to moving the snow and avoiding the catastrophe of hitting a mailbox or two. How'd I do?
Very good, yes, we've found multiple uses for our sidewalk plows, other than just the sidewalks, which
Can I
are the
ask,
snow blowers.
is that gonna be something going forward? Or should we continue to shovel out the mailboxes like the post office tells people
Well,
to
there
do?
is technically, you still will have to do that to get your mail. What's happened, and Kevin is right, one of the things, we had this discussion this morning, newer crew, a little timid in finding street widths or not knowing them, and me railing on them that you've got to stop. You've got to slow down, you're getting paid by the hour, I can't take all these calls and have to go to Deb and file the claims when we do make contact. So it's a concerted effort to put, for lack of a better term, the fear of God in them, in there, that I will start making them pay for their mailboxes, which I can't. I'd like to, and then, so they've stayed a little off, which isn't the worst thing. Now this is a tough winter for us, but most of it was powder, and then we found, after the fact, we're trying to catch up, the snow blowers do a great job finding it with very little damage. Occasionally we get some complaints about us blowing snow in the yards, but at the end of the day, I just can't make everyone happy. But there are fewer mailboxes.
I mean, you can't kill my mailbox because it's not connected to my post. I just drilled a hole through the post and put a strap around it, which is not the classiest looking way. But if it gets knocked over, I just put it back right again. So
2015, when I was the foreman in that 9 feet of snow, that one of the things I did after the storms would buy out Dawson's of bungee cords. And I kid you not, and Dave would have me go out and we would reattach mailboxes to as best we could to the post or anything else out there so we could, and it was just, that was a different winter, but.
mine was a passing comment, but it turned into a whole report on snow operations, so I'm good. My update's done.
Devil's in the details. And there's actually
Mailbox metric.
there's been real concentrated effort to try to avoid it, and we appreciate that.
All right, Ms. Mercier Link.
I don't have any updates, but I have questions. No. I did wanna thank Gary's team again, cause we've been talking about snow, but I think I mentioned last week, it's been nights and weekends, so thank you to your team.
Yes, thank you.
The friendly driver that waves to me when I'm in my house, I wave back.
She
Very
got the
nice.
friendly
I don't know
driver.
if it's you.
Oh, boy.
or
I thought you
somebody
got a
else.
wave.
Yeah, cool. Wave, I say
Occasionally
hi.
it is me,
I
but
give
it
them
is
cookies.
KJ, who is Diane Riz's son, who used to work here downstairs.
That's worked out.
And so he's water department,
Oh, gotcha,
so he's on that route over there.
okay,
Every once in a while I get down there, but usually I'm in the loader if I've come down there to
yes,
pull
Great
things
guy.
up, but.
yes. And then I've gotten a request for do we only have one sidewalk snow blower
We
machine?
have two now.
Oh,
We
we
have, we have two.
People are fascinated by them and would like to name them.
Well, we never named our
Like
lawn.
what?
Name them,
Are you ripping off MassDOT? Is that what you
Or our plows.
so
We never did.
We'll know how to do the pomp and circumstance if we end up getting that.
Yeah. That's true. I did my 34th snowplow event for MassDOT today, so.
That's it.
All right, great. So as was mentioned, we had a meeting with Masco. It was a member of FinCom, member of Select Board, and the TAs of the Tri-Town. They've been accepted into the MSBA application program. And what they're looking at is the HVAC system, which would include things like insulation, is my understanding. Any electrical upgrades associated with that, and basically all related to fixing the roofs as well. If you remember 2 years ago, there was a capital request to fix the leaky roofs. At that time, I think they had 23 or 24 active holes. So whenever it rains, they get the buckets out. Though that was shot down by one of the member communities, not gonna say which, but you can guess. And this time the number is a lot larger. They
For
were
buckets?
for the HVAC and the roof repair. They're talking on the order of $50 to $70 million.
50 to 70.
That's, the whole project that we did in 2004 was 54 million, 54.6. So now the rooftop and the HVAC is gonna be 70.
That really puts it in perspective.
Well,
Some years.
along that line, at the listening session, last Saturday or the Saturday before, there was talk about that. And it was talk about 50 or 60 million, and somebody said, well, maybe we ought to build a new school building. So I talked to Kevin about it, and he said, oh yeah, 650 million to build a new school.
Just
I did it for 54.
I remember that came up prior meeting.
So just with inflation, the $54 million from 2004 would be $93 million now. So still, it's a lot of money. But 40%, the reason that it's different now is we are in the MSB application process. They're very confident that we will be awarded what amounts to a 40% discount. Or no, I shouldn't say discount. MSBA pays for 40% of it. Importantly, it's a reimbursement
Of the debt service, right?
of the
Including
total
interest.
capital. So I think they pay the lump sum. They pay as invoices get submitted. So it's not like they pay 40% of our debt service. It's 40% of the capital up front. Or not up front, as the
That's just as
invoices
good, yeah.
are approved. Right, so we wouldn't be paying interest on that.
40% is big.
The things to be aware of is that's not coming to us this year. That might not even get to us next year's ATM. What they are talking about now, though, is they do need the money to hire the SP.
Project manager.
Project manager and engineer, OPM, thank you. The owner's project manager. That is not a small amount of money in and of itself.
And that's what's on the, that's what we now show in the article in the warrant.
So 2 years ago, when Mr. McDonald referenced that they came in they were starting through their process before they went through the MSBA process. They asked us for a $5 million article to start for the OPM.
For design and OPM, I think.
Design, engineering, and project manager.
Correct. And that was the original 5 million, and that was not passed because one of the communities voted it down.
Don't look at me, I'm not gonna say anything.
And so as a result of that, that article failed. So as a placeholder, as you notice, it's highlighted. If towards the end is the same exact language from 2 years ago as a placeholder, assuming that they're gonna give us new language, 1.75 million built into it. That'll probably be a little bit different too, what the wording is, but that right now it's just simply a placeholder. Probably
Well, that's why it's in yellow.
in 2 weeks or so, we'll probably get, or 2 to 3 weeks, we'll probably get the legal language from Masco to insert to the warrant.
A couple other things, the feeling from the other member communities is a lot more positive now than it was before because of, let's see, at least two reasons. One, the MSBA. Two, they do already have a Capital Building Committee. Yeah, which was a sticking point last time as well. So the feeling from those other communities was this is a much easier ask and we'll be able to get it through. We're not gonna guarantee that, but the immediate ask is going to be for these original monies for the OPM to get us down the road towards the much bigger capital
At
ask
this town meeting.
at this town meeting. Yep,
And how about the other two, the track and the turf field?
was not discussed, was
discussed at
not
this
part
time.
of the, oh, the other big thing is part of that price tag is it is a large enough capital improvement to the building that you have to bring everything up to code. So if there's stuff that wasn't code in 2004 or whenever it was built, they have to bring that up. So that's part of the reason the number is as large as it is as well. That includes ADA compliance in the building, not at the tracks, not at the football field.
What did you say for total cost again?
50 to 70 million,
50 to
or
70 million.
55 to 70.
I think right now they're underwriting a $75 million number, but they're hopeful that's conservative.
Cause at the listening session, they said it was 66 million, 55 of that was the HVAC and 10.5.
I think they said 11 or 12 was roof,
Well, they're bringing up the code and the rest of the building has to be something.
something in there, yeah.
Yeah.
OPM will be helpful, obviously, once they have the funding
Right.
to help with design and identifying those upgrades they'll need to make.
So the other thing with MSBA is you cannot do a like for like. So you cannot take out the HVAC system that you have and put the
put
same
another one.
thing back in.
You gotta
Things have
help.
changed. We have a 2050 goal for decarbonization in Massachusetts. One of the things the OPM is going to do is design, hey, here's this design, here's the cost associated with it. Somebody brought up solar. They weren't thinking of solar. We've asked them to make sure that the OPM looks at if you install solar, how much does that offset your costs? How much does that get through your life cycle costs? So my understanding is, again, this was a very preliminary meeting, but that they're gonna ask the OPM to give them many options and then decide, generally a higher capital cost comes with lower operating costs and vice versa. So it's a big ask, it's coming. But then the last thing I'll say is there is the risk that we approve the OPM money, it gets spent, and then if we don't approve the capital later on, we don't get reimbursed the 40% from MSBA. And also we have to actually approve the entire amount, or up to the entire amount, regardless of MSBA. So there's always the risk the MSBA wouldn't approve us, although that's a very, very small risk.
Yeah, if they approve the OPM, they would approve the project, for sure. And I hope the townspeople are smart enough to realize if they spend the OPM, it makes 100% sense to spend the rest of the project. How could you think you'd spend one and not the other?
Because the cost is very high.
Well,
You get an
yeah,
estimate that comes back 150
I understand where
million,
you're
maybe.
coming from, but
Yeah.
that next step is huge.
Next step is huge. Oh, did I miss anything?
You did a great job, Mr. Chairman.
I do have something
Yeah,
that I would be allowed to.
related to this?
No.
Alright, let me think, did I have any? No, go ahead.
My ever vigilant wife managed to see an announcement from the COA about somebody coming to explain to COA members the circuit breaker tax credit on the state tax return. So I looked at the announcement, and this fellow is from the DOR who's coming to explain it. So on the theory that any exposure is good exposure, I'm gonna go to that meeting tomorrow and try and get 10 minutes with the guy and explain the problem and, how
What
we need
what
to
you've been
avoid it.
trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, how
words
we
of
define
Yoda,
Yeah.
do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, do it now. So, and there is legislation in the House that could include this exact program, minus the correction, of course. But, so I've created a new sheet, which is a little more detailed and easier to understand. But I suspect we don't want to go through that tonight. But if anybody
I think
wants
we're out of
copies,
time,
if
unfortunately.
anybody wants copies, I have a copy.
Okay.
So you're making progress.
Okay.
He reminds me of Shawshank Redemption. Do you remember when he wrote a letter to the governor once a week and it didn't work? But he got a letter back, so he said, "What are you gonna do now?" "I'm gonna write him twice a week." Took him years, but it paid off.
He'll be there.
Okay, TA's
Shawshank
report,
Redemption.
please.
Budget and warrant updates, so we talked a lot about that at the last article. You know, some of the bigger things that we're working through, as we talked about before, is snow and ice, 110,000 that we're trying to solve for that. And then obviously the 95,000 roughly that Essex Tech number that came in. We'll talk more as our work sessions progress, like we talked about. Talked about the miscellaneous capital, and we continue to talk about what the operational override will look like, geared specific towards the insurance and pension and snow and ice. It's the big three that'll be shown on attachment A, that we're gonna have to, when we go out for override, those are the areas we've talked about for what the override would be, and then it's just a matter of how much those end up being at the end of the day that we'll try to solve for. So got some good feedback this before this meeting from Finance Committee around the language in Article 3 as it's presented. They seem to think that the language was worked on, which it was, and that it meets what I think they hope to, and I know that was a
Who's
similar,
they again?
the Finance Committee.
FinCom.
So I know Select Board said that the language at our work session last week looks pretty good. You know, FinCom now said the same, so that's a good sign that we've made some progress on the language in Article 3. Again, our attachment A will show the specifics of where the override's gonna be put. But we're also on schedule, and like I said earlier, I will get it hopefully by the end of this week, a version 6, if not early next week, depending on KP Law's timing. Working on HR items. We have 3 collective bargaining agreements that we're beginning negotiations with. So far so good, but it's very early. We also have started our interviews, and we have 2 more interviews Wednesday for the communications position. I met with Stephanie Bellotti today about the website. She's staying on and continue to she's giving back the communications piece, but she's gonna stay on helping with the website for a little bit while, at least a month or 2, until the transition's fulfilled. Did have a chance to look at the design. There's some tweaks I asked that we go back to our support team at Civic Plus, see if we can make a couple more tweaks to it, but there's progress being made on that as well. And we're hoping to get live on the website in the next couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks, depending if they can make those aesthetic changes I've asked them to make. Continue to work on the 250th events this year. No specific updates at this time, other than the conversations continue. Anyone who's interested in participating, if it's anyone at home, let myself know, and would welcome you onto the committee work that we're doing.
Also, if you're interested in participating in the bicentenary, do the same thing.
Yes. So then we also have 10 School Ave. We talked about Alfalfa Farm earlier with the liquor license and the progress they're making around that, so I won't get into that, but I will say 10 School Ave, they're almost finished through their conservation approvals, and we were expecting today, I'm not sure, I didn't have a chance to talk to John before he left today, we were expecting the application to the Board of Health for the restaurant component of the design, which is great progress. We're hoping that at the next ZBA at the end of this month, they might even get their special permit for the event and conference center, which would be great.
Can I ask a quick question on that? So
Absolutely.
they're waiting for all of their signed permits before we actually finish with the sale?
Yes, so the contingency on the PNS is that they'd have all proper approvals from the town, and at that point we'll close, and then they're gonna be very anxious to start putting shovel on the ground, which is great, it's exciting. We're gonna start with the path through the CR land behind to the right of the building and behind the box stop, which allow for a public accessible path. That'll be great. And then in addition to that, we're working on the roadway on School Ave and the improvements with the sidewalk as well. And those will all start happening as we start getting to the closing table. Those will be the first things you'll probably see, and then the work on the site itself. So.
Yeah, I applaud the effort to get together on all the permits before they start constructing. And that's actually the way to do it.
In the National Grid is going to be starting to install smart meters it's not our project, but obviously it's gonna affect our residents, so we'll be making sure we notify people that that work's gonna start happening, that people will be starting to notify residents that they need to get inside their homes to replace the meters.
Sorry, what kind of meters?
Smart meters is what we're being told.
Gas or electric?
I think
water?
It's electric meters, I
I
believe.
must have had the dumb meter at my new place, 'cause it doesn't really seem
National
accurate.
Is it National Grid?
National Grid work.
That could be either one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, both our gas and electric meters are on the outside. That might not be the case for everybody then?
Nope, not everybody's on the outside. Gas, when they upgrade gas, they'll put gas meters on the outside of the homes now. But a lot of people who haven't had upgrades, you'll find them on the inside.
Our
Electric
is on
typically,
the outside, boy.
meters on the electric
Ours is on the outside.
typically are on the outside, but you can find them on the inside sometimes.
Both of them. Electric.
And then I know it's been said, and it's not just because the department head's in the room, but I will thank Gary and his team for the work they've been doing. It's a lot of work. On top of everything else, road acceptances, the bridges that we're working on, the infrastructure. We had a conversation last week with IRWA and their efforts to help us with an MVP grant to do some culvert work as well, and potentially the pier at Pie Brook. So there's some infrastructure work.
Who is IRWA?
Ipswich Water
Resource Association?
Ipswich River Watershed.
Shed Association. Wayne used to be the executive director, now it's Aaron, and we work with Neil, who's a resident of Topsfield, who's very helpful in helping us with our larger infrastructure grants that we apply for. So kudos to Jackie for the application. Thank you to Gary for all the work they're doing and the support on that as well. Team's humming. It's that time of year, got a lot going on, but they're doing great work and we appreciate it, so thank you.
I didn't hear any humming tonight.
It's a silent motor, it's an EV.
Okay. Good?
I'm good.
Is that all you got? I mean,
That's
Don't tempt me.
funny. I think that's great. Thank you.
And we have no correspondence.
I saw, I'm very
Yes.
sad.
It's very sad.
So I can motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to adjourn? All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are adjourned at 8:37.
He wants to go